How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I'm going to go and do this mission, reattempt it again, called Solid Rock. Well, it's one of the contracts actually. And yeah, for this I got a pair of Zikzes with these seismic vibrator modules, because that's what you need. Got to kind of go and scan 4 different areas on the map. And yeah, I wanted to use like a little bit of a I don't know, a mathematical method to finding them, just so I wasn't aimlessly driving around. First things first, I normally have my map rotated this way with the sort of gateway on the right, but since it's one of the rare missions, it's actually using north, east, south and west. I'm going to rotate my map this way, so that's north, east, south and west. And in this screen as well, because it's got like the black background, I can read the actual numbers a lot better. That's why I abandoned this mission the other day. It was doing my head in trying to squint to work out what the numbers were. Yeah, so basically I'm doing the bottom one first, and as you can see it's 480 metres away from me. So I've drawn a circle that is 480 metres around me, and I already know then where I've got to go isn't inside the circle because that's too close. It can't be outside the circle because that's too far away. It has to be on the line I've drawn, but obviously at the minute I don't know. It could be anywhere along that line, so that still doesn't narrow it down a hell of a lot. The only thing I know, I thought, because this is like the east end of the map, it might be over here, but it can't be over there because as you can see the circle would go off the screen. So what I'm going to do is get another Zikz, drive it down this little path here to about there, which is near enough slap bang in the middle of the island, and then draw another circle, and where those 2 circles will intersect at 2 places, and I know that where I've got to go is in one of those places. And again, that narrows it down now, like instead of aimlessly driving around, because when you've got these seismic vibrator module things on, it's a bit of a pain that you can see that little ladder that sticks out the back, and because of that you can't take any trailers or anything. I mean, I always bring a goddamn professional with me, but that's part of the reason. Like, he's sort of spare fuel just in case. I've also got the roof rack. This truck, to be fair, is pretty good with fuel when you factor in like the roof rack and everything as well. But yeah, if I just knew, oh, it's sort of, I don't know, it's over there roughly, and I'll start meandering that way. I remember doing it with the missions, I can't remember what they were called, or Triangulation or something, on like Drowned Lands and Quarry. And yeah, I just kind of drove aimlessly around, which has its moments. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but yeah, fuel-wise, obviously, I didn't want to keep going around all over the place and then eventually run out of fuel and have to sort all that out. Speaking of fuel, I appear to have abandoned one of these little scout trailers in the way. It's getting stubborn though. I was like, right, I'll drive over it. Not today. See, that, like, this is actually pretty good for keeping the loaf on the roof. I'm pretty convinced when I did that mission knee deep with these Zikz, it kept chucking the loaf off the roof, which is why the version you've seen didn't have a loaf on the roof, because the amount of times it just kept unpacking it was, yeah, pretty crazy. But this one seemed to hang on pretty well. But yeah, like I said, I can't take a maintenance trailer or anything like that, which would be quite handy. I suppose I could winch one behind me, but yeah, because I could still poach the fuel out of it. Obviously it needs to be attached to you in order to get the repairs out of it. If it was me, I'd just tie it to the bloody ladder. The guy says, where's my ladder gone? Well, probably still tied to the end of the trailer. Yeah, I mean, look at these pair of goddamn professionals. Not only they saved me here the other day, they've opened up a bloody petrol station while they're waiting. I'm like, well, don't mind if I do. Quick 20 litres of unleaded. And we're good to go. So this is why I need like 40 loaves, because strategically dotted around the maps. I was hoping now I didn't dig my nose in and go for a big fat endo. Yeah, like, as I'm driving towards, I now know, by the way, from doing this the other day, I know the location of the first thing I've got to go and search. I genuinely had absolutely zero idea of where the next 3 were, but I'm still going to do this mission like I did the other day where I genuinely didn't know. I'm only saying that really because as I'm driving just to the middle of the map now, the number is going down of the thing I'm driving towards. I think, well, yeah, when it starts beeping, you're within 150 metres. Again, not only does it shrink the screen, but I can't read the bloody white text with white snowy background at the best of times. But I'm going to guess it's on about 120 odd metres now because it's already started beeping. But that doesn't really matter. It's still, I mean, maybe at this point you could just try and wing it and find your way. But yeah, it's one of those things, to be honest, where I don't know, I got forced for literally thousands of hours to learn maths. I even did maths at A level, well, until I just didn't enjoy it anymore and I left, but yeah. I don't think I've ever had to use anything other than basic maths since I bloody left, so any chance to sneak a bit in there, I may as well take it. Yeah, so now I'm in the middle of the map, got like my little location, and the distance it's away from me, I think it's like 150 metres or 120 or something, sorry. So I'm going to draw a circle, which I have, and they intersect at 2 points, as you can see. So I know it's got to be at one of those 2 locations, so I'm going to draw a dot there, and a dot there, which is the 2 places that the circles crossed each other. Now, I already know, as soon as I drive forward to the first dot I placed, the distance is going up. So I know for a fact it can't be that, because I was driving closer to it. So it's got to be the other dot. And yeah, long story short, now, without having to drive around all over the place, I know it has to be there. That's the only place. And again, I appreciate that now, as I was recording this, I did actually know that one was there. But that's exactly how I found it like the other day. Technically, I could have probably just gone and got the other footage, but sod it, I just restarted the mission and did it all over again today. Oh, so I probably was about over 150 metres back there because it wasn't beeping. But yeah, I can see as well the number is counting down, so I'm definitely heading in the right direction. And well, I was going to say, I knew the location of the first one was like here somewhere. I hadn't actually collected it. I got about here, and then I was like, do you know what? I don't like the fact that I can't see the numbers again. Look, how am I supposed to read that when there's a white bloody tree behind it? Like, just put a black box behind the text, so it's, even if it's a black box that's like on the gearbox and the stuff down there, it's not a complete solid black box, so you can still see through it a bit. But yeah, I'd rather be able to read what it's trying to tell me. As I was driving there, the numbers started to go up a little bit, so I knew I'd already gone past where it potentially is. And yeah, I could kind of work out it must just be over here to the left. And when you're within 10 metres of it, I believe, it just says scan the area, so yeah, if there's like a tiny little bit of inaccuracy, it's just, I'm probably right on the very edge of where I can scan it. The centre point probably is like that tree to my left. Oh yeah, you need to press like up on to bring your menu up, and then just press square, a bit like how you access the cranes. I was just looking in my little scroll down menu to see if it says like activate radar, which I believe it does with like the prototype trailer and everything. So that was the first one found. So now I've got to find the next one, which I genuinely I had zero clue where any of these were. I'm going to go probably for this astronaut town one next, because it's the closest to me as far as like the numbers go. And all I'm doing now, trying to find where 480 metres or whatever, again I can't see the number because it shrank, but I was just trying to find like how, yeah, the radius of the circle I need to draw. So I put a dot there, and the only reason I was choosing that bit first, that happens to be very close to where I need to go. The only reason I chose there is because I needed to read the tiny little metre distance once I put the waypoint down. So, as you can see, I drew a circle with my first Zikz. I'm now in my second Zikz, and I'm going to draw another circle. And again, they're going to intersect at 2 points, so I know it's one of those 2 points where I need to go. And it just so happened this first waypoint I put down, like, is very close to how far away it is from this Zikz as well. So I already had a gut feeling, to be honest, it's got to be there somewhere. Because as I was looking around, I was like, it's called Astronaut Town. And I was looking at all different buildings on the map. I mean, that thing in the middle where you've got like that road with almost like a little cul-de-sac at the end and everything, looks like a little town, so it just made sense that that is probably Astronaut Town. I know it can't be anywhere along all that side of the circle, because that's way too close to my second Zikz, the one that's at the garage. So anyway, I cut a bit ahead there, but I've drawn 2 circles. This one looks a bit iffy because they're actually like, the circles are quite close. Long story short, they intersect there and about there. So I know it has to be somewhere along those 2 points. So I'm just going to, yeah, start drawing a line over there. I'll drive there, and then once sort of we get there, I'll know roughly. Yeah, do I need to kind of go up that windy road to the top of that big hill really, or is the the point I'm searching for kind of going to be low down. So, claw my way back out of there and get going. I'm not sure how this mission factors into any later missions. The only thing for me is on this map, Chimcharuski, there's a warehouse that if you do a mission for it, you can unlock the warehouse, and it has obviously various supplies I'm going to need for later missions and contracts. It wouldn't let me do that mission. I believe it's called, or contract, sorry, spring cleaning. Yeah, it said to access that, complete solid rock. So that's literally why I'm doing this one now, just so I can unlock the warehouse mission. Tomorrow, obviously, I'll be doing the live stream, so yeah, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do a mod live stream or a normal live stream. I may do a normal one, to be honest, because I did the mod one last week, and I'm trying to think. I'll have a look. I'm not 100% decided yet. I suppose, worst case, I could do half and half. I've only got to kind of load back to the menu, but yeah, I don't think there's any like crazy new mods or anything that. Yeah, it would just be a lot more of me messing around with mods, really. Probably that big Arnie truck again. Certainly don't mind roaming around in that thing. And yeah, as we're driving through here, I mean, maybe this is part of this astronaut town as well. Obviously, it's kind of give you the astronaut town location instead of just saying south or whatever. To be fair, I mean, it's not really in the south, so. So I can already see, by the way, from the number at the bottom, it's dropping quite rapidly. So I'm definitely, from how rapid it's dropping, I know that I'm near enough driving straight at it. Like, it can't be that far off to my left or right, otherwise I'd kind of be approaching it diagonally and the numbers would be dropping maybe a few meters each time. I think that was clicking down by like 5 to 7 meters per time. So I get to here and I can either go right, and follow the wiggly path up, or along this shore. And again, it was just purely because I'm already down at the bottom that I may as well start looking at the bottom. I had a feeling it was either like where I am now, near or a bit there, or at the top of those cliffs where you can see that little dark patch in the snow, kind of just to the left of that little cul-de-sac where you turn around on yourself. So yeah, these are the two locations I wanted to check, and like I said, I chose this one first because I'm already down here. And already I can tell, though, the number is dropping pretty rapidly. Again, I can't see it right now, but I assume it's like in the 20s or something, and there you go, within 10 meters it's beeping, so. And that was genuinely pure luck that when I started drawing my circle for this one, I put the first waypoint like 20 or 30 meters south of where I am now. But I only did it because it was a nice clean bit of map where I could read the number. Obviously, if I start the waypoint in the trees, I can't see what the distance is. They could make the number a bit bigger with your waypoint. Right, so that's 2 down, 2 to go. I'm going to go and do the west one this time. And it was like, is it 1,589 meters away or something? So when I drew the dots, it is near enough like the other end of the map. So it's about there. So now I'm going to draw a circle that's maintaining that distance away. I just wanted to double check there. It's like, yeah, I've gone in a bit too tightly back towards the Zikz. Oh yeah, it is a Zikz. That's a good job, because I said Zikz instead of Kolob about 50 times in the last video. Yeah, so drawing the circle, I mean, there's only that bit of the circle that is on the map. All the rest it's too big to fit on the map. Yeah, that's what she said. And yeah, so now I know it's got to be somewhere along that line, but I don't know if I've got to head to like the southwest corner, the northwest corner. I have no idea. So now I'll switch back to my first Zikz, and I've drawn a line for that one. So I know it can't be anywhere down in the south, because it can either be really straight in the west or to the northwest corner, because that was the only two places the map intersects. If I'm honest, I've got a gut feeling it's going to be up in the northwest corner, just because as I was looking at the terrain around there, yeah, the bit where the circles met more south on the map was like in the middle of trees in the middle of nowhere. They didn't really look like a sensible route up there. This just made more sense because, yeah, there's lots of little tracks and things running around there, but there's not really anything in particular going on over there. But I already kind of know straight away, because as I'm driving now, the number starts dropping, if it was in the southwest corner of the map, obviously the number would be going up right now, so that solves that problem already. I now know the one point where both circles intersect, so yeah, I near enough, like, I mean the first one I got right, yeah, to within 10 metres. The second one I got right to within 10 metres. This one I'm now assuming I'm going to be pretty much there. And again, I was kind of a little gut feeling. I was trying to kind of guess where I think they've put it. And this one I'd say I was the most inaccurate, only like 20 metres out or something, but close enough. I was looking at these tyre tracks here. I was like, can't remember if I've ever driven. I don't know if they're there all the time or what, or if they're old tyre marks from me, but I don't remember driving around this part of the map. Certainly not with a truck anyway. I think I might have came around here with the Lo4f when I was just uncovering a load of the map. I'd say the Lo4f's pretty rapid now, especially when you're driving along all these little icy bits. Get up to top gear in that new engine. It's pretty good. Like, the Lo4f wasn't as slow as some people said, oh, it's insanely slow. I don't agree. The Apache is insanely slow. Yeah, the Lo4f, like, so when I used to do those rallying videos, it's like, the Lo4f was slower, but not by much, considering I was crossing the entire map. Like, on the Stage 2 one on Northport, the Lo4f was only like 11 seconds slower than the Tiger, and the Tiger had smashed itself to bits on the way and all sorts because it was taking damage. The Lo4f took 0 damage and just cruised his way there. I just had a quick look at the map now. I mean, I'm not far off, but I cut that bit out because it didn't really matter. It's random. I heard something earlier I thought was pretty interesting. It was to do with Chernobyl, where obviously it all went tits up, and they got those people called liquidators to go in and like clear some of the debris, and obviously you'd think who the hell would want that job, but apparently at the time Russia was at war with Afghanistan, I believe it was like the Afghan war, and they basically, the soldiers were like given an offer: you can either serve 2 years of like national service in Afghanistan, or you can do 2 minutes of shoveling debris off the roof of Chernobyl. And that's why quite a lot of them are like, yeah, sod it, I'll take 2 minutes over 2 years in a desert at war. Yeah, I just thought it was pretty mad. Personally, I'd take the 2 minutes shoveling. I don't want to be sat in Afghanistan for 2 years. I don't do well in hot temperatures. I'll risk I mean, what's going to happen? Grow a 3rd bollock or something. Sod it. It's a spare for later on. Go to the doctors. Like, there's something wrong with one of my balls. What? Well, it's bigger than the other 2. So it used to be a spare bollock, but now acting like it's fucking king of the ball sack. Get rid of it. Don't want a kid with that one. Come out looking like Boris Johnson or something. I chose to skirt along the edge here. That ice looks like it might not break, but you never know with this game. It's like, yeah, I don't trust it. There ain't enough unbreakable trees around. Well, there's none that I'd be able to reach. To be fair, I drove through a little bit of ice a couple of minutes ago, and it was pretty fair, balanced ice, nice ice. I wish they'd had more of that stuff, because it still feels like a lesser truck would probably get stuck there, but all the big hefty stuff doesn't, and that's kind of where I'd like it to be. Like, that's why I pay the good money for the good trucks. And as I said, I genuinely at this point, like, it makes no sense to me, I'd just tell you I knew every location if I did. Yeah, I had no idea where the location of this. I was just using my 2 circles method. I believe that's how they triangulate phones when you hear that. They just work out the signal strength between 3 different cell towers, and from working out with each one, they just know where you are. So at this point, I'm pretty close. I think I'm about 50 metres away. So I'm drawing a little circle around me now. My guess was it was about 30 metres kind of over to the right of where I was. But point being, I drew a little circle, turned up to the left. The distance went up, so I clearly know it's now not the entire left side of that circle. So then my guess was maybe over there sort of somewhere. And again, as I start turning now, I believe the number starts counting down a little bit. The And my rough guess, just before I'd even set off there, I thought it was about here. And I think we're down to about 40 odd metres, but then it starts counting up 1 or 2 metres again, so I already know now I've drove past yeah, where it could be. So long story short, I now knew there was an upgrade at the top of here. There's like a little spirally path up that mountain. I knew it had to be up there. It can't be that dot in front of me because I was just driving forward and the thing was counting up, so it's got to be there, like that point I'd just put on the mountain really. But again, I was just drawing a circle to kind of demonstrate that it's somewhere along that line, and I can rule out 95% of that circle. So the distance is going to start going up again because there's only one way around to that path to start spiralling up the yeah, and again, I already had my gut feeling where it was, but I turned left there just to double check because I knew as soon as I started turning left, if the counter goes up, then yeah, it's definitely not that way. And yeah, for any of you that haven't got the upgrades on this map yet, this is the upgrade. What was it for? Oh yeah, it was the tuned custom for the Sentinel, but I don't know about anyone else. I already had tuned custom suspension for my Sentinel, and then when I found that upgrade I was like, oh well. The weird thing is, oh no, stock. Was it stock or one? I think one of them raised maybe as locked or something, I can't remember. But either way, I already had tuned custom, but if I follow this path all the way around, that's where the tuned custom unlock is. So if you haven't got it already, you may as well get on with this mission and just kind of pick it up on the way, I suppose. And yeah, pretty much exactly where my line just cut through when I drew the last circle, it's here. Again, it sort of lets you get it 10 metres early, so it probably is actually like 10 metres in front of me where the actual centre point of the dot is, but I don't care. As soon as it lets you activate that, we're done. So yeah, that's 3 down, 1 to go. Just remember while you're drawing your circles, turn your engine off so it doesn't absolutely nail the fuel. Now, this one's in the north, so I pretty much can rule out the whole bottom half of the map, unless they're just purely being trolls and false advertising. So, is it 700 and something metres away, so I'm drawing lines, just working out, like, the radius of the circle I need to draw. So, I know it's roughly around here, as in, like, the circle. My gut feeling, to be honest, was that it was there. And I appreciate as well, these are pretty rough circles. I mean, they're obviously not all exactly the same distance from my truck, but within a margin of error of like 10-20 metres, it'll do. It gives me a extremely good idea of where it is. So, I've got a feeling it can't all be any of the bottom of that circle. It ain't really going to be the bit that cuts through Astronaut Town, because I was there earlier, and the distance wasn't like tiny on the other numbers. So I sort of know it's got to be somewhere along here. So, I draw another dot away from, like, I've just switched back to my Zikz in the garage, and I'm just working out the radius of that circle. And basically, it's got to be about there, and I already know that because this circle going to intersect there, and probably, I don't know about there, but again, I was just there, like, for the previous one. So I didn't bother drawing the whole circle. I know it's there now. And I genuinely, at this point, had no idea where it was. It's just that's where my circles told me it was. That's where I'm heading. Oh yeah, just gonna sort of draw a little line. So cross-eying out a little bridge. That bridge is pretty cool, to be honest. It's not really got any stupidly massive gaps that try and delete your suspension on the way. And I know it's further in that little area, but I'm just going to draw the line to there because I don't know which route weaving through the trees I'm going to use. And I don't know, it's one of those things, I've not really got bad OCD or anything like that, but with those dots, I hate it when I miss a dot. And then, obviously, all the other ones I've drawn in front of me, I mean, maybe that's not even OCD. It's just like, god damn it, game. But yeah, if I had not drawn any of these circles, and like I said, just purely gone roaming around, like for that one that, yeah, particularly the one I've just got now, I could have just as easily started heading off to the southwest of the island and all sorts, and just burnt a lot more fuel than I have, and sort of spent a lot more time, really. Game. Don't even try it. Thinks I'm a noob or something. I'll have you know I've been loaf trained. You ain't getting me that easy. Little glitch there. Yeah, like I said, it's pretty. To be fair as well, this Zikz is actually pretty good at not taking damage from the ice. I just kept it pinned pretty much flat out over there. I believe now, though, or coming up in the next 30 seconds or whatever, I take a little bit of damage on my suspension. Not that bad. Like, pretty reasonable, all things considered. But yeah, a lot of other Taiga would hit that bit. Instead of getting 1 damage, that's it. That's 200 or something. That's your whole suspension gone. And for the most part, I believe all this edge of like the river, the frozen banks or whatever, is actually just solid ice. So you're best off just following that down. I wasn't 100% sure, that's why I drew some of my dots a little bit in the snow, which is why I'm kind of skirting along near the snow. See, that chunk of ice there, that took a bit of a hit, but again, it was only about 30 damage on the suspension, which, I mean, yeah, I'm dropping the hammer a little bit, smashing over blocks of ice, so I'll take that. I think that's reasonable. It didn't take a single bit on that, though. Right, I've already seen from the map that obviously you can see where there's no trees here, but there's like a tree line along to my right, and I just kind of know to follow into this whole area. Those tyre tracks there as well, they must already be there, because I've genuinely never been over here before. Those other tyre tracks, I'm not 100% where I said maybe the loaf, but I've definitely never been through here. I looped around, I went to like the repair bay and went round the long way. But yeah, I'm following the sort of keeping the tree line on my right, just weaving my way through these. Obviously some of them are not breakable trees, quite a lot of them aren't, so that's why I didn't want to draw a path through them. And literally my circles that I drew intersected here exactly, and that is literally like truck perfect where it is. That's about it. Press up on the D-pad, square, get scanning, job done. I have to say, that's a bloody rip-off again, $3 grand. Like, surely it should be like 8 or something. Especially when they're selling trucks like that HX520 is 220 grand nearly, fully upgraded. Like, I'd have to do bloody loads of these missions, like 80 or 70 of these missions just to buy it. Anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, thanks to my Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.